Okay, so today we're starting the second half of the problem solution outline. Just a quick review of what we did yesterday. The introduction section, I'm putting that in air quotes, the introduction section talks about the problem. So we had the hook at the beginning to grab our attention. That's only one sentence. Then you needed to name the problem that you're going to cover. And so that's maybe a sentence or two. And then you're going to have a few sentences where you explain all of the causes what is this, why is this problem happening? In the second paragraph of the introduction, or however you want to do it, you're going to talk about the effects. And this really focuses on why the problem is important. So what is happening because of this problem? At the very end of the introduction, you name the solution, because the solution is your thesis. The solution is the thing that the whole paper is centered around. That's the thesis, that's the focus of the whole paper. So that is going to be the end of your introduction. So that's just a review of what we went over yesterday. So today we're starting on the solution part. Yesterday was the problem part. So we have a few different things that we need to talk about. This is generally broken down into two parts. So one is the major steps for solving the problem, and then the bulk of the essay, most of the essay, is going to be about the benefits of your solution or your plan. So in this first body paragraph, you're going to, this should maybe be one or two paragraphs long. Because you ended by naming the solution, now you're going to describe it in detail. So basically you're going to talk about the 2 to 5 major steps we need to achieve this goal. And we can certainly come up with some examples of this when we have our discussion in class, but if I wanted to have more activities on campus, maybe that was my solution, to have more activities for students on campus, how would we need to do that? Maybe we would need to get some permits, we would need to talk to administration, we would need to make students aware of what activities are on there, we would need to have somebody planning out the activities. I would have all of these different steps and I would order them in a way that was going to be easy for my reader to understand. Okay, so you're including all of those in just one or two different paragraphs. If you want to break it into two major parts, you can, but generally this is just a single paragraph. After that, we move on to the benefits of the plan. So each benefit is described in its own paragraph with researched evidence supporting it. Okay, so now all of the paragraphs following this are going to be focused on one benefit. You're going to have a paragraph about your first benefit, a paragraph about your second benefit, a paragraph about your third benefit. So again, you're going to identify 2 to 5 major benefits of your plan, and you're really arguing that these outweigh the costs because the benefits are probably pretty obvious, but you need to argue that these benefits are worth it. Okay, these benefits are more important than some of the time or energy that needs to go into making the solution happen. So you're going to choose the best reasons, and it should be probably based on your research, but here are some ideas for thinking about how to approach the benefits. One benefit might be that some of those negative effects that you talked about up here are going to be avoided. So we would no longer have students feeling isolated. We would no longer have students feeling depressed if we had more activities on campus. Some of those major effects could be avoided. Also, we might be saving time or effort. In this case, if we had activities on campus, students wouldn't need to travel to the city. They would probably stay closer to campus. It would take them less time. It would cost less money. Oh, I'm stepping on the toes of my next one. But it would basically save somebody time or effort if we did it this new way. And then another way to approach it is, of course, saving money. And this is always very persuasive to people. If it's going to be a cheaper solution than what we have right now, most people would be persuaded by that. So these are just some ideas to think about when you're approaching your benefits. These are some things that could be considered benefits. Okay, and remember each of these, this is going to be 2 to 5 paragraphs because each benefit is getting its own paragraph. When you have exhausted all of the benefits, you can go to your conclusion. The conclusion is going to be real short. You want to restate your main points. What are some of the things that you covered, the problem, the steps, the benefits? And then you want to re-stress the importance of the problem. So remind them that this is a serious problem that needs to be dealt with. And I put in parentheses here, this is an excellent place to bring your hook back in, because when we talked about introductions and conclusion, we talked about coming full circle and bringing something from the introduction into the end, so it gives the reader a sense of completion. And this middle of the conclusion is an excellent place to do that. And then every conclusion ends with a call to action or a look to the future. The call to action is pretty obvious because you want people to support your solution. So in this one, you could definitely do a look to the future, and you really want to describe a better future, something, how much nicer the future is going to be because of your solution. And you can add some rich details in there if you want to. Again, the conclusion is pretty short. So this is, maybe a sentence, a strong image to end on. This is maybe a sentence, and then you've got a few sentences about the importance where you bring your hook back in. Okay, so pretty short conclusion, I would say 3 to 4 sentences. Okay, so we've got the major steps, that's 1 or 2 paragraphs. We've got the benefits, that's 2 to 5 paragraphs. And then we've got a very short 1 paragraph conclusion. So your homework for today is going to be to outline the solution section. We've already done the problem, but now we're going to outline this section, so the steps and the benefits. The steps describing the solution should be in their own paragraph, and then you can move on to the benefits, describe each benefit separately, and provide evidence from your research to prove that it is beneficial. And I just wanted you to remember what you've learned about paragraph structure. So the topic is what the whole paragraph is about. You have some evidence that's going to prove it or support it, and then you have some analysis that explains the importance. So maybe I would say that having activities on campus is going to be a benefit because it's going to save people money. My evidence is going to talk about how much money would be saved. Where would the money be saved? How would the money be saved? How much money would it actually be? And my analysis is going to talk about that most people care about saving money, so this is an important benefit. Okay? I have one more thing that I'd like you to do. We put the 2 paragraphs for the problem outline up on the discussion board yesterday. I would like you to just, we can talk about it in class, you'll do this in groups or in partners, but make sure that your partner or your group have all 4 of the key parts. So is their hook interesting? Does it grab your attention? Do they have multiple causes, and are they all distinct? Do they explain them one at a time? Are their effects meaningful? Are they things that people actually care about? Do they take their time and explain each one at a time? And then is the solution clearly stated? Is there any way they could make it more simple or more straightforward? Okay. So I am going to ask you to look at somebody else's problem outline from yesterday. I'm going to ask you to draft your own solution outline. And please also don't forget about your empirical research, that you are tabulating your results in a chart or a table somehow, so that we can view those and you can start to include those as research in your essay. All right, I will see you guys soon. Write down any questions that you have so that we can go over them in class. Bye.